Hey, 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 my sweet, stunning listeners. Welcome back to Jeremy Spreads It, the podcast where in season 2, I will be breaking down queer dating, love, and relationship topics one awkward moment, thirsty message, and flawless outfit change at a time. I'm your host, Jeremy Spreadums, and hopefully, I'm one of your favorite love coaches in the LGBTQIA plus community with no medical license, but I do have plenty of fabulous experience. This is season 2, episode 4, The First Date, Making an Impression. And it's part 2 of a part 4 series just to keep things short and sweet for you guys to listen to. Part 2 is all about mastering the art of first date dialogue because, honey, what you say and don't say on that first date can make the difference between do you want to come up for a nightcap or good luck out there? Okay? So let's get into it. First, let's talk about talking. First dates can be exciting, nerve-wracking, and full of what do I even say next kind of energy. But let's not even panic, okay? The key to great first date conversation is to keep it light, keep it fun, and keep it flirty. Do your best to skip the heavy stuff like politics, religion, or your ex who possibly still shares custody of your houseplants and 2 cats. This is not the time to unpack your emotional baggage. It's a first date, not your therapist's couch. Okay, so instead, you can talk about passions, weird hobbies, fun dreams, guilty pleasures, shared experiences in the LGBTQIA plus community, or mutual love for trashy reality TV, or the fact that you still cry during Love Actually in some parts. No shame, okay? The British do get to me too. Next, you want to avoid TMI, too much information. Okay, listen, I love vulnerability. I do it all the time. But there's a big difference between being open and dropping your emotional life story in between sips of whatever you're drinking. You want your date to leave thinking, I want to know that person more, not, I need to decompress from that trauma spiral. Okay, so save the deep dives for date 3 or after you mutually agree that you're each other's emotional support people, which could possibly be after date 1. But you never know, okay? You never know. Keep it simple, okay? Also, it's fine to mention what you do for work, but don't make it your TED Talk of the date. Every person is so much more than just their job title. You don't want to miss out on a golden human just because they don't come with a corner office or a graduate degree. Okay, love isn't defined by a LinkedIn profile or a career path. So don't just focus on what a person does as far as being the reason why you select them to be your first date in the first place. And if you do talk about work during your first date, keep it simple and light. Okay, the first date shouldn't have to revolve around what you do for work. There's so much more to talk about. Okay, and if you're going to talk about politics, religion, or life trauma, I guess it's totally okay, just keep it light and non-inflammatory, aka dramatic. We all have moments when we need to feel understood and seen for who we are, especially on a first date when you're trying to talk about who you are and where you're coming from. So if the person that you're on a first date with is accepting and empathetic to you, and they reciprocate by opening up about their own traumas or political opinions or faith or religious beliefs, just be ready to show them the same level of respect and kindness that they show you if they do respond that way. And if they don't, just know that touchy subjects will generate unique responses, so be ready to deflect and move on to a lighter topic. The next thing I want to talk about is like if you run out of things to say during a first date, what do you do? Okay, so if you're stuck on what types of questions to ask, here's a few conversation starters that work every damn time. Like, what's something you've always wanted to try but haven't yet? What's the weirdest or most unexpected thing that you're passionate about? And my favorite thing to ask people that I meet for the first time or that I'm getting to know is, what would you do if you won $10 million? This question is a character revealer for sure. Okay, these are just some examples, but you can ask open-ended questions, not just questions that are going to generate a yes or no response. Okay, boring. Open-ended questions get people talking, thinking, laughing, and that's exactly the energy you want on a first date and in general. And if you're really bad at improv, bring a cute little deck of get to know you cards. I actually had one when I was like 18 when I wanted to keep things spicy on a first date. So these get to know you cards, you can find them wherever, but they are instant conversation starters. If you get familiar with some of these questions on a get to know you card deck, then you're going to be preparing yourself a little bit better for on a first date with types of questions that you can ask that person. Okay. All right. Next thing you want to do on a first date to communicate with the person that you're dating is to read the room. Okay. Words are powerful, but what about body language? We all heard that there is so much more information communicated through body language alone. Okay. In fact, experts in interpersonal communication have estimated that nonverbal communication constitutes approximately 70% of what is involved in communication, which means 30% of communication involves the actual words we use. So, things you want to pay attention to about your date and in yourself are things like, are you guys leaning in? Are you both smiling? Are you making eye contact? If one of you guys isn't, then something's off. But if that is happening, then you're golden on that first date. Okay? You also want to pay attention to the signs like, is your date checking their phone constantly? Crossing their arms? Scanning the room like they're planning an escape route? These are signs that they're probably not having a good time. And also, if you are doing these things, it's probably a sign that you're not having a good time either. Okay? So you're not a hostage on a first date. You can end this if those are the signs. Being able to read these cues makes you present, engaged, and hella considerate of yourself and the date. And let's be honest, queers have a sixth sense for vibes. Okay, so use that shit. Next, we're going to talk about awkward silences. We don't know her. Okay, yes, we do. But in the event that happens, I'm going to teach you how to handle her with grace and charisma. When the combo becomes dull, don't panic. Pull out a fun topic. Again, this is coming back to the deck of cards that I was talking about, like get to know you cards. But great way to tackle the awkward silences is to bring up a fun topic. Okay, favorite travel memories, books, movies, shows you're obsessed with, the most ridiculous viral meme you saw this week or today. Okay, keep a few light topics in your back pocket just in case. And if that doesn't work, then throw them a question about what they thought about WandaVision and the Scarlet Witch saga. That's a fun question that's also very revealing of someone's character if they're able to answer it with depth and finesse. All right, now let's talk about ending that date on a high note. Okay, now picture this. Your first date is wrapping up. You've slayed the conversation. You've laughed, maybe even flirted a little too well, but you know what? Who cares? You had a good time. And that's all that matters about dates and getting to know people and being with people, is having a good time. So how do you stick the landing like Simone Biles after a first date? You can say something sweet and simple, like, I had a great time tonight and I'd love to do this again. Or, you've got amazing energy. I really enjoyed this. Sprinkle in a compliment that's specific, not you're hot. Good gracious, no. Try something like, your laugh is contagious. It's one of your best qualities. Or, the way you describe your dream of opening a queer book cafe. Wow, you got a great head on your shoulders. Something like that, okay? Then leave with a little flair. A sassy wave, a flirty wink, and a playful smile, okay? You want your first date to walk away thinking, damn, I need more of that energy in my life. All right, now some final thoughts about first date dialogue. Mastering first date conversation is about balance. Be open, but not Oprah. Okay. Be curious, but not interrogating. Be flirty, but not feral, unless if you're into that furry play, which some people are. Try to listen and stay tuned to what your date is saying. Laugh freely. Be yourself, but like your cutest, most socially aware, date-friendly self. And a reminder, Every first date is practice for your next great connection, unless if you make a good connection on that first date, which is probably what you are intending. Okay, so that's it for part two of the first date, making an impression. If you're loving this journey, be sure to tune in for part three, self representation and authenticity, aka how to show up as the baddie you are without overselling or underplaying your magic. Until then, keep it classy, grassy, and a little sassy. And as always, spread queer information fiercely. Bye, Felicia.